Hello there. I'm going to show you a neat little project that you can do. It's just a cute little thing. If you have an old shirt, any kind of shirt will do. Maybe a t-shirt or a shirt like this. And this is a lady's short sleeve shirt. It is striped, as you can see. It's orange and white. It has a V-neck, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what kind of collar or line, whatever the neckline looks like, it doesn't matter. So we're going to turn this shirt into a little tote, believe it or not. And you don't have to do any sewing. You don't have to, be good at any kind of seamstress type work or anything like that. You just need a few simple materials. I'm going to show you what you need to do this. And this would be a good project for a rainy day if you're at home with your kids and you just want a little something to do. And you might have a couple of shirts around that you don't use anymore, and you can spare them. This is a neat way to recycle them and use them in a really cool and productive way. So here's my shirt. I folded it up, and there's a little mark right here because I was testing a marker on it, but it doesn't matter because this is not going to show when we're done. This is not going to be a part of the tote. So I'm going to unfold my shirt. And of course, the larger the shirt, the larger the resulting tote will be. I'm just going to smooth it out a little bit. And I'll show you the materials that you need to do this. It's not much. It's very simple and basic. And very easy to do. So we have our little shirt. And I got this shirt at Goodwill. I looked through my closet, but recently I cleaned out my closets. I have two closets. I have my regular closet, and then I have a separate closet in the attic that my husband made for me because I have so many clothes they wouldn't fit in the regular closet anymore. So I got rid of 4 large garbage bags full of clothes. And I still have a lot, but I couldn't find a shirt that I really wanted to part with. So while I was at Goodwill looking for stuff to sell on eBay, I found this. And it's a Land's End V-neck striped shirt. And it has very short sleeves. But it doesn't matter, again, what the sleeves look like or anything like that. And I like the pattern. I think for this project, if you had a t-shirt with a little design on the front, that would be really cool, because when we're all done, the design would be showing in the middle of your tote, and that would be really cute. But you can use a plain shirt or any kind of shirt, as long as it's not a button down, but one that's like a t-shirt and that's complete and doesn't button or come apart in any way. So, and what you need, first of all, is of course the shirt itself, and then you're going to need a marker, some type of this is a silver Sharpie marker. That it doesn't matter what kind it is. This is just one that I had handy, so I just grabbed this one. And you need a pair of scissors. And these are really nice scissors. These are J.A. Hinkle's kitchen shears, which I would highly recommend, by the way. I got these on eBay. I think they were about $12. These are fantastic scissors. I love them. I use them for everything, all kinds of things. I don't really use them for, the kitchen. I don't use them in food preparation, but I use them for other stuff. They're very durable, but it doesn't matter what kind of scissors you use. So I have my scissors and my marker, and this is going to seem a little weird, but bear with me. I also have a lid. Now, you don't have to use a lid. I mainly picked this because of the diameter and the shape of it. and it was the size that I wanted. I looked through several plates in the kitchen cabinets and bowls, and this was the closest to what I wanted, and I'll show you. But if you can use a paper plate or any type of plate or a lid if you want. But what I want to do, I'm going to move these aside for a moment. I'll just get these out of the way for a minute. What I want to do is I'm going to lay this lid on top of the shirt up at the top. I'm going to put it there to where it covers this part right up here at the top. I'm going to move this down where you can see a little better. I want to cover this part, but I don't want to go out too far across here. I want to keep it to keep as much of this out as possible. I'm going to try to get it centered like that so that it covers that V-neck, but we have some fabric here on the shoulders. Okay, actually, you know what? First, before we do that, let's turn the shirt wrong side out. Let me do that first. I'm sorry. I want to do that first. Before we mark anything, I want to turn this shirt inside out, and then we'll make our marks. And again, it doesn't matter what kind of marker or pen you use. It doesn't matter because it's not going to show when we're done. So let's smooth it out. Make it nice and straight and neat. These sleeves kind of pucker, but that's okay. We're going to deal with them in a little bit. So I'm just going to smooth it out. Make it nice and straight and smooth. And there's a little tag here, but we're not going to worry about that either. It's okay. I could cut that off. I probably will. But I was thinking this would be cool to keep in the trunk of my car. I try to keep reusable grocery totes in my trunk, and because sometimes I go by this store called Aldi, A-L-D-I. It's a German company, but they have stores in my area, and it's a neat little store. But you have to bring your own bags, or you can purchase their bags. But I try to bring my own bags so I don't have to buy more, because I have lots of reusable totes at home and I don't need any more bags. So, all right, we have it wrong side out, and it's nice and straight. And you want to make sure that the seams down at the end here are straight also. That's not quite so important at this point, but we will need to make sure we do that. So, and move it down. All right, now we're going to get the lid again. So, and again, it doesn't have to be a lid. It could be a plate or just anything that's round that works for your shirt. And different shirts, you could use different things depending on how big it is. Okay, so I can kind of feel that it's sitting just beyond the seam of the V-neck. All right, I'm going to leave that there. Open my marker, and you see, this is a silver marker, and it's sort of a metallic color. It doesn't matter. You can use anything you want. And now I'm going to kind of trace around the lid of this lid, trying to make sure that the fabric doesn't pucker. I'm trying to keep it flat and straight all the way around. Pay no attention to that train. Okay. There are a lot of nights that I can't sleep, and I've become very familiar with some of the engineers' habits as they drive by. Some of them blow their horns a lot, and some hardly blow them at all at night. You see, I sort of got a bit over there, but that doesn't matter. Okay, so we're done with the lid. So I'm going to put that aside. We won't need it anymore. And there's this one engineer, when he comes by, it drives me crazy because he blows that horn almost non-stop. And there are two railroad crossings really close to the house, and he will blow the horn non-stop from one to the other, and it just makes me crazy. I don't like him. I want to find out where he lives and sit in his driveway and blow my horn non-stop for about 10 minutes while he's asleep. Okay, sorry. I'm going to get back to this. All right. So you see here where I drew my little outline, and it comes just down to the bottom of the V-neck. So that's pretty good. Now we're going to hold the shirt, making sure that we have both the back and the front between our fingers, and we are going to cut the shirt along this line. And it doesn't matter if it's not perfect. And it really doesn't. You know, if you have some old t-shirts and maybe they have some stains on them, or they just don't fit right, maybe they shrank in the dryer or whatever, and you don't really have any use for them, this might be a good way to use them. Just turn them into little tote bags that you can use over and over, and then maybe once the tote bag starts to wear out, you can cut it up and use it for rags or something. Okay. One reason I like these scissors for this project is that they have, I don't think you could really see, but they have, the teeth are kind of serrated slightly. And they really kind of grab the fabric, and the fabric doesn't scoot out from inside the scissors as bad. So here's the piece that we cut out. It's the V-neck. And we're not going to need this anymore. Actually kind of looks like a bib or a visor, but we don't need that, so we're going to put that aside. Now we have this cutout area here, and now what we're going to do, and we don't have to draw anything for this, and we are going to cut the sleeves off. Looking at the seam, you want to keep this intact. So I'm going to cut just on the outside, right where the sleeve begins. I'm going to just try to hold the fabric. That's a different train. Some nights there aren't many, and some nights there are a lot. I'm sorry. Okay. And when we're done, it's gonna just be basically a tank top. There's one sleeve. Here's the other one. And you can, if you need to, you can sort of pull the seam out away from the sleeve to make it easier to cut. Or not, it doesn't matter. And I think this would be a good project for kids because, you know, it doesn't matter if it's not perfect. And kids love to do stuff like this typically. I know mine do. And it's not cooperating with me. I'm going to start down here. Oops, missed a little bit there. Okay, I'm going to put that aside now. It just looks like a little tank top, which is basically what it is now. So, and while I'm at it, I'll come over here and remove this tag because we're not going to need it anymore. There, now it's gone. Now we come to the bottom part, right down here. And again, keep in mind that we have the shirt wrong side out. It's kind of hard to tell right now, but it's wrong side out. And we have these two pieces at the bottom. We're going to make sure that these line up and make sure they're nice and straight. And what we're going to do, and I'm going to move this closer to you so you can see, but in order for me to cut them straight, I'm going to have to turn it in a second. We are going to cut strips about 2 inches long all the way across the bottom. They're going to be about 2 inches long, and again, they don't have to be perfect, it doesn't matter. And we're going to just cut them this way. And one thing I like about having a striped shirt is that you can more accurately gauge how far up you're cutting. Like you can decide, okay, I'm going to cut from here to the middle of this orange stripe. So you know all the way across that you're cutting them the same. It's kind of like wrapping paper. I know at Christmas time I prefer wrapping paper that has a consistent pattern to it, so that when I'm cutting it I can make sure that I can just follow the pattern and make sure that it's cut nice and straight. Some wrapping papers have a grid on the inside on the white part, and you can just follow that, but some wrapping papers don't have that. So it's good to have a nice pattern that you can follow, and the paper isn't cut all sideways and incorrectly. So I'm going to turn it to face me so I can see what I'm doing. Look at my scissors. And I'm going to start on this side. Let me straighten up that seam a little bit. I'm going to try to get the seam on the very outside of the shirt. All the way out to the edges. Now it's better. A little wrinkle there. And make sure the edges are together. And they are not together. That way I can make sure that I'm cutting them the same all the way across on the front as well as the back. This was an adorable shirt. I feel kind of bad cutting it up. But I have plenty of shirts I don't need anymore. And I bought it specifically for this video. And it was the same price as a regular short sleeve t-shirt, so it didn't cost me anymore. And I liked the color and the pattern. Okay, I'm going to make sure that these are lined up. There we go, that's good. Now I'm going to take my scissors, and I think I'm going to cut up to, let's say, this white, the middle of the white stripe. I'm just making little strips. They don't have to be the same width. Doesn't matter. Just making nice straight cuts in the shirt. And I'll show you why in a minute while we're doing this. Just take your time, do it nice and easy. But if you do this with your kids, just make sure they know that they can't run into their rooms and get all their other shirts and do this. I wouldn't put it past my kids to try that. getting there. This is a nice little springtime color. I think it's a perfect tote for spring, and we are definitely headed into springtime. The weather here has been just beautiful for the last couple weeks. We're getting a little spoiled. It's supposed to turn chilly again this weekend, and it's gonna really be awful. Have to actually, deal with chilly weather. Oh, it's awful. Okay, so now we have these little frilly pieces like that. I'll put the scissors aside. We're done with the scissors. Now, with all these cut pieces, and I'm gonna also, I think I'll also, I'll leave that there. I think I will cut that. I can't remember if I was supposed to cut that or not. I'm going to cut these side pieces in half. There. Now what we're going to do, with each little strip, you'll have a front piece from the front of the shirt and a back piece from the back of the shirt. So what you do, you take the front piece and the back piece, the ones that correspond to each other, and you're going to tie a little knot in it, just a little granny knot, and then you're going to tie, and you leave it like that. Just, okay. And you move to the next one, and you tie a little knot in it. You can do a double knot if you like. And you just keep moving. You just keep going. And you can cut these strips longer if you want to. You can make them as long as you like, but yeah, it's up to you. It's your shirt. You can do it however you want. I think it would be really cool if you had a tie-dyed shirt. This would look really neat with a tie-dyed shirt. And make a nice tote. So all I'm doing is just taking the front piece and the back piece, and I'm just sort of making little simple knots. And right now I'm doing 2 knots per set. See? And then we have, as we go along, all these pieces start to sort of bunch up, and that's what they're supposed to do. I'm looking forward to trying this out, seeing how well it works. I hope the weather where you are has been good. I know that there are different parts of the United States that have not had very good weather lately. I've had downright terrible weather, and we've been very lucky here. We've had wonderful weather, and I've really enjoyed it. See, it starts to get all bunchy, and this is where the different colors really show, and the orange and the white all mixed together really starts to look nice. And just keep tying your knots, and it's going to gather up automatically as you do it, but you just keep going. Making your little knots. And in case you can't see how I'm doing this, it's like the first step to tying your shoes. You take the 2 pieces, you cross them over like that. You take one piece like this, you tuck it under and just pull it down. And I'm going to do a double knot. It's where I just tuck it under and pull it again. Look at that, isn't that cute already? So just keep going. Oh, it's the ice maker. I'm so sorry. I never use ice. I don't know why it's constantly making it when I never use it. I don't know where all this ice is going. I'm not a big fan of having ice in my drink. I don't like it being watery. It always ends up being watery because I don't drink it fast enough. So I just stopped using it. Okay, we're coming up on our last few sets. And I think if you made one of these and took it out somewhere, people would compliment your little bag and they'd have to know where you got it. You could tell them I made it myself. Okay, now we've gone all the way across the bottom and made our knots. We've tied the pieces together. You can stop here if you like, but personally, I would like a little bit more, I would like these to be tied a little bit more securely because ultimately this will be the bottom of your tote. So I want to make sure it doesn't have holes and nothing falls out in case some of these knots came untied. So what you can do, you look at your little knots where you've tied them and you take one piece from one knot and then you can tie it to one piece of another knot. Like I can take this one and make some more knots. So I have one little string from one knot tying it up with a string from a different knot. And this is where slightly longer strips may come in handy, so you have more to work with. And you start to have trouble telling your strings apart, telling which one belongs to which knot, but that's okay. You just do the best you can. I mean, it's not like I'm going to be carrying bowling balls or cement blocks in this thing, so the most I'll have in here is probably some little cans of fruit or some strawberries or something. So it doesn't matter if it's not super strong. It doesn't have to be. I like Aldi. If you have one in your neighborhood and you've never been, I would highly recommend you give them a try. They have the best chocolate. They have wonderful German chocolate. So I'm going to just stretch it out a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. It's getting difficult. I've actually never done this before. This is something I saw on Facebook and thought it looked pretty neat. So I thought I would try it. I might get my kids to try it next time we're stuck at home on a rainy day. If I can find some shirts to spare, which I'm sure I can. Yeah, they each have way too many shirts and way too many pairs of shorts. And I need to go through their clothes and weed out some stuff too. Oops, sorry, my finger slipped. I'm not getting every one. I'm just basically get some of them tied together. And if you want, you could actually do this with the shirt right side out if you would like for this to show once it's done. But what we're going to do now, see, now it's all tied up at the bottom. What we're going to do, and again, you could have done this with the shirt right side out, so these little frilly things would show. What I'm going to do now is turn the shirt right side out. And what we end up with is this. A cute little tote with handles. See? And the bottom is nice and secure. It's all tied up and we didn't have to sew it or do anything special. And it's nice and roomy inside. And this wasn't even a very big shirt. This was, a women's, I don't know if it was a small or a medium. Let's see. I'll look at the tag and tell you what size it was. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I was way off. It was an extra small. It looks awfully big to be an extra small. I guess maybe it was made to be baggy. No pun intended. Oh, so here we have a cute, practical, compact, so you could just wad it up like that and leave it in your trunk or your glove compartment or whatever. We have a cute little tote, and it's ready to go. And I think this would be a neat little thing to try anytime you want to do a little craft or a project. I think this would be perfect. So I want to thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.